Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Calling All Devs, our new weekly Q&A series where I take questions from you, voted on by the Star Citizen backer, and pose them directly to our developers. I'm your host, content manager Jared Huckabee, and I'm very sick, and we've got like maybe 15 minutes left on this lozenge, so let's just get right to it before I lose my voice. All right, so for our first call of the day, we are going back, as Benoit would say, north of the wall, and giving a call to our friends at Turbulent. Let's see who picks up. KAITLYN. KAITLYN, how you doing?
Hi, Jared. How's it going?
Good. Welcome to Calling All Devs. This is that thing that I told you about.
Thank you for having me.
I understand Benoit is on vacation. Is that what's happening?
He is. He's on vacation. Some well-deserved time off. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you can be here for the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so the question that we have here for you today, now these of course are submitted by backers. They are voted on by backers each and every week. Their question for you guys this week is, when are we getting an update to org tools on our website?
Right. Well, when is a little bit of a loaded question.
I know.
As I'm sure you guys hear. But what I can talk about is what kind of we've been working over on the last couple of weeks, and some details about our plans to bring it into Spectrum a little bit more.
Okay, let's go with that.
All right. So one of the biggest things, obviously, we want to bring in the orgs into Spectrum right now. So our UX department has been working closely with the design team and with the devs to try and figure out a way to make this a little bit more seamless. Right now, obviously, with the orgs in Spectrum, the orgs forum and chat system, you guys can already, all the communication is already happening there. So when we revisit orgs, it kind of only naturally makes sense to bring it into Spectrum. So we started with the first question our UX designer asked, which is what does it mean to discover a new org in Spectrum? And of course, that brings up like multiple different ideas of interfaces that we have to introduce into Spectrum. So the first thing, obviously, if we're allowing users to discover a new org in Spectrum, obviously we have to create the possibility for an org public page, so that you can actually search and see this information about the orgs. And then we're also playing with the idea of a org public forum, which we think would be a really cool opportunity for potential recruits to interact with the org members and admins. So that's one part, is introducing like a new public page, public forum. And then along comes with this, of course, is how do you search for a new org? How do you search the org database? So right now, all of that is happening in the org section on the RSI site, but we would want to bring that into Spectrum. So what filters, functions do users currently use? So actually, to explore that a little bit more, we're looking back in terms of what worked for people before in the past. How are our filters functioning currently today? Do we need to be adding new filters? Are some of the filters totally useless? Do we need to introduce, is the search function the most important feature? How do people search and find new orgs that they want to join? So that's something that we're looking into, and then of course bringing that functionality into Spectrum.
Okay.
And then the other part that comes with this whole discovering a new org through Spectrum is, of course, we have to create the ability to apply and for admins to manage recruits. So there's going to have to be a new interface to introduce applications and like a admin receiving those applications and managing them, and of course being able to manage blocked users and all of that functionality. Of course, comes with that is like notifications. How do those notifications happen? How do they look different? So all of this kind of functionality all is encompassing by how do I discover a new org through Spectrum? That was kind of our main question that we asked, and it's kind of channeled out into these new features that we would like to add. So the design work for that is already done in terms of asking the questions. We want to reach out to community, so you guys might see us starting to engage with you in terms of questions on specifically around orgs in Spectrum. Kind of asking you guys what information do you think is important? What things, especially in terms of searching for the org database and managing, what kind of things do we need to make sure that we give functionality for? And then one thing that I can say that's super exciting that you guys are going to see very soon with the next release of Spectrum is custom roles.
Custom roles.
And I know that you're still going to have your org settings are still, the full section of org settings is still going to be controlled through the RSI site in your accounts. However, the ability to add a new custom role and control all of the permissions within the forum is going to be right there in Spectrum. So that's pretty cool.
That'll be a big step to making our org forums, fully usable.
Absolutely. It's going to give you so much more functionality to be able to section out people, recruits, and the members of your org into the sections that you guys need.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's I think that's more than we asked for. So thank you so much, Kaitlyn.
My pleasure.
All right, I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks, good Jared. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so thank you so much to Kaitlyn out of Turbulent in Montreal. Kaitlyn and Benoit are fantastic partners. This is everybody at Turbulent. Let's just be real about it. I love working with these people. All right, so our next question here. Pardon me. We're gonna make it through the show, people. We're gonna make it. Our next question, I think, is perfect for a gentleman that we haven't had on the show for quite some time, Johnny JACIVIOUS out of Foundry 42 UK. Let's see if he. Hey, Johnny. Johnny, how you doing, man?
Oh, hello, Jared. How are you doing?
Good. You're doing well. Welcome to Calling All Devs.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, no, it's no problem. We're going to make use of you. I got a question for you, and maybe a follow-up question. We're going to see. Hold on. So we're right at the bat, and these questions are voted on and submitted by our backers. And we pull through them every single week. This question comes up a lot. This question, I've seen this question in some variation, one way or another, almost every other week for the last year or two. The question is mag boots. Mag boots, are they ever going to be a thing for EVA?
No. So mag boots.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Johnny.
There's your one-word answer. So no, but also yes. Mag boots as they were not really versatile enough for what we wanted to do. So obviously mag boots require a surface that you could magnetize yourself to. And you'd expect you would get near enough to a metal surface, you would connect, and you would plod along very, very, very slowly. Whereas this new system we've got is called Align to Surface, and this would allow you to align yourself to any solid surface. And as you lower yourself, your EVA thruster pack would know that you want to lower yourself to the surface and attach to it. It would then keep you pushed down on that surface, and you would get your standard FPS, within reason. You'd get your standard FPS behaviors of running around, being able to mantle and all sorts of things like that. So it's a lot more versatile. Like you'd be able to do this on asteroids, you'd be able to do this in all sorts of places rather than being limited to kind of like gantries, walkways, sides of spaceships and stuff like that.
Okay, so we are going to get the type of gameplay that's associated with mag boots.
Yeah.
It just won't have that cool sound effect that the audio guys could really make up, because it's going to allow us to have this gameplay on all kinds of surfaces, not just magnetic ones.
Yeah, it just makes it essentially makes mag boots far more versatile, and it's going to work for us and for everyone else a lot better, we think.
Gotcha. And what's the system called again?
Align to Surface is what we're calling it internally. Yeah.
Right,
so essentially, it does what it says on the tin. You kind of hover above your chosen surface, as long as you're within reason, within a little cone of variation. If you lower yourself to that surface, your thruster pack will know what's below you, and it will allow you to land perfectly stably on that surface and stay that way, providing your EVA pack is working. If your EVA pack's not working, then why are you in 0G anyway?
Gotcha. It kind of sounds like an IFCS for FPS.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it.
I mean, it's going to figure out your orientation and do a little to keep you.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's cooler than I thought. I was just expecting the no.
No, we lose the cool thunk and the mag boots, but we gain everything else.
That's all right. I imagine it's kind of like playing with a lightsaber. I think we're going to make the mag boot sounds ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more question for you. I was gonna call Alex, but you're here, and I think you can help with this. Are there any plans for a single player AI mode for Star Marine?
So not that I know of. We're obviously focusing a lot of our resources into the PU at the moment. So that's where our priority lies. But never say never. It's one of those things that could definitely come in the future, but we've got no plans at the moment.
Yeah. Fair enough. I know a lot of our resources are focused on the Precision Universe. I mean, it's important to remember that Star Marine and Arena Commander, they're not fully featured video games of themselves. We're making Star Citizen, we're making Squadron 42. They were test beds and stuff. So we've got the Precision Universe now. That the work can be best spent iterating on the Precision Universe. But who knows what the future future will hold. But
we'll never rule it out. But we also have no plans for it currently.
Fair enough. You just saved me another phone call, so thank you so much, Johnny.
No problem.
All right, I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
See ya. Bye.
All right, so Johnny JACIVIOUS out of Foundry 42. Thank you so much, man. For our next question, I get to call somebody here in my own office. We're gonna talk to Matt Intrieri and answer a question about docking here. Matt, how you doing, man?
Hi, Jared. How you doing?
Good. Welcome to Calling All Devs.
Good to be here.
All right. So we've got a question from the backers, voted on the backers, and I think it's good for you. It says, what kind of work has been completed in making the P-52 Merlin usable from the dock mount of the Aquila? Very specific.
Docking. Yeah.
Docking.
Yeah. Todd mentioned this in the last ATV. We're not currently working on that feature. We're focusing on optimization and the cockpit experience for the engineering team, and some cargo work and missions and things like that. Our engineer Chris Rain will be working on what we call the multi-grid tech in 3.2 or 3.3, we're hoping, and that will give us the ability to start to implement docking, which is going to require some AI and all this auto motion to push you into place. And the multi-grid will also enable us to crack ships in half and leave the interiors and see the ship separate like you're standing on the bridge of the Titanic, which is something I've always wanted. But since we're not doing that, I can actually show you what I'm working on right now.
Oh, really?
If you're interested in that.
Yeah. Okay. I guess maybe.
Let me pull that up here.
I have no idea what this is going to be. What are you working on right now? Please don't be trolling me, man.
Do you recognize this?
Oh, okay. You're not trolling me. This is my baby, the Reclaimer.
This is the Reclaimer. So I've been working on the landing gear.
Hold on. The alarm's going off here.
We may have to evacuate.
I think there's an evacuation alarm going on. All right, go. I'm going to mute my mic. You just show us.
Okay. So this is the Reclaimer. I've been working on the landing system. Imagine a ship having to do a push-up. And so here's our VTOL deploy. And then the landing gear extend. Let me get a nice little angle here on this. And let me do that again. So the landing gears deploy out, and they do our usual kind of hang pose. And then when the springs start to compress, we get all this groovy pipe work, piston work that now reacts. And let me do that from the front so you can kind of see what's happening here. So we want the feet planted, and then I'll let me see. So as the spring compresses, the feet plant.
Gotcha. Remember, we've got a Reclaimer segment next month's ATV, so save some.
I'll save some for that. Yeah, we won't show the final as I drop it on a planet, which will be pretty awesome. Looking forward to that in the next couple days.
So cool.
Cool. Let me flip back here.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for taking the time not only to answer the question, but to give me a little something extra. So
Sure. My pleasure.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Cheers.
Bye. All right. So Matt Intrieri, I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to find out make sure the building's not on fire. I'll be right back. All right, so the building didn't burn down. Yay, us. All right, and for our final question of the show this week, this is one that comes up quite a bit. All these questions come up quite a bit. It's probably why you guys are voting them up. We're going to go ahead and give Chad McKinney a call. You might remember Chad from last week's episode. Let's see if he's available. Chad is a very busy person, programming and engineering for 3.1. Hey, Chad, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Thank you for working me into your schedule, man. I know you're a busy guy. That's always the catch-22. It's like the people who have the answers are the ones that are involved in the most stuff. So yeah, it's sorry for being awesome. Sorry for you being awesome. I don't know. My throat drop is wearing off. All right, Chad, your question this week and the final question of this week's show about permadeath. When my character dies, will I have to buy a new character, or will the game give me a new one for free?
Interesting question. There's definitely a lot of layers to that, especially considering the technical developments that are going on and planned. Currently, there is not any kind of penalty. In the future, we want to start adding things like maybe a fee whenever you die and respawn, and then also have some other effects tied to respawning. So things like aging of the character, wear and tear, things that give the character a sense of a lifetime and meaning. Mm-hmm. And also another thing to take into account is that in order for you to really for this to be meaningful, we need to have multiple characters in the game, and this is something that actually we don't support currently in the game, both on like the DGS side and the dedicated game server side, and in the back end as far as your persistence data. And so I think ultimately we want to have it to where you can have multiple characters, and some of your characters age and get worse over time. If you want to know more about like kind of the ultimate vision of that, you should check out the article "Death of a Spaceman" from several years back, which kind of lays out CR's kind of, I think, final ultimate vision for what we want this to be like.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's one of the difficulties in answering questions about development while you're in development is always speaking about the immediate, what we're working on now, speaking on the near future, what we expect to have in the coming months, and then of course the long-term goal. It's like that. So I think we pretty much covered it there. We'll put a link up to the old Death of a Spaceman article in the video description. Everybody, you should check that out if you haven't already. It's still the ultimate plan. And I do have to say, Chad, this is 2 weeks in a row where I called you right at the time our cleaning folks are behind you. Like literally, you're talking and he goes back there cleaning. I'm like, how did we do this again? 2 weeks in a row. We didn't.
What you don't realize is he's just always there, man.
No. I think this is just the time of your day when you have open for me. So, all right, thank you so much, Chad. I'll let you get back to work.
Well, thanks.
All right, bye. That about does it for this week's show. Special thanks to Chad McKinney and Matt INTRIERI and Johnny, JACIVIOUS, and KAITLYN for being on the show. Don't forget, you can submit your questions for consideration each and every week up on the thread, up on Spectrum, up on robertspaceindustries.com. And don't forget to vote. It's a two-pronged plan. You got to submit questions, but you also got to vote on which questions you want to see us address each and every week. So for Citizens of the Stars, I'm Jared Huckabee. I have to go tell somebody they've been on internet TV 2 weeks in a row now. And see you next week, everybody.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in the Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.